Heroes Forge, a Heroes of the Storm podcast.
What's up, Forgers? Welcome to Season 2, Episode number 86 of Heroes Forge, a community-driven podcast all about Heroes of the Storm. As always, this podcast is brought to you by our amazing supporters on patreon.com/HeroesForge. This is your show host, Jeff Reynolds, and I'm here with the co-host of the show, who is more awesome than Gamescom. It's Kristen Ashton. And Kristen, I have one hyphenated word for you, and it's Kel'Thuzad.
Dude, that's why I can't possibly be more awesome than Gamescom. This is a hero I think everybody has been waiting for since the beginning of Heroes, since Heroes Alpha, since Heroes Pre-Alpha, and here he is. We finally have some talents, we finally have some abilities, and we've got this really cool animation sequence where I am excited to announce those lane mercs on Towers of Doom, one hit, one kill.
The animation was really cool. I'm not really into anime, but I watched that and my brain goes crazy because I'm thinking this is awesome that they're supporting different kinds of art. We see it already in the game when it comes to the sprays and comes to the portraits. They've got the artists going crazy over there with all different types and styles of this artwork. And then this anime intro drops for Kel'Thuzad, and I just thought that's really neat.
It is, and it was a great way not only to kind of give us a more nerdy view into a hero's look of what these battles are like in the storm, but it also gave us this really great introduction to three new skins we're going to be seeing. We've got the Dreadlord Jaina, we have the Frost Knight Sonya, and then the Crypt Queen Zagara.
Oh, they're going to be so cool. And now the Dreadlord Jaina, though, gives me a lot of hope because they're really messing with the silhouette here. They're really changing the way she looks in the game. If you go to Reddit, you can find some images that people have screen capped from the games that they're casting, or they're doing show floor games over there in Gamescom, and people have screen capped the Jaina skin and Kel'Thuzad out there on the battlefield. We haven't seen an in development video yet, so we're not sure exactly what it all looks like on the Blizzard side, but people are out there compiling everything that they're seeing from Gamescom, and the Dreadlord Jaina skin is very different than the way she looks in the game now.
Very, very different. It's almost Succubus Kerrigan levels of different. And a lot of people in the comments, if you check out that Reddit string about the Jaina skin, are worried, perchance, that it will get very confusing. So this is definitely a foot in that silhouette manipulation, probably to test just how far they can go. Now, I have no doubt they'd be able to backpedal, maybe drop the wings a bit if it gets too confusing. But maybe it works out.
I think it will. Is that your favorite of the new skins that are coming out? Is it the Dreadlord Jaina? Because it's mine.
It's hard to say at the moment because I haven't seen if Sonya's going to get a silly hat or not. And I could see myself really getting into this new Sonya skin because I love her so much. But if they don't have a red hue and she's got a silly hat, it's probably going to be Crypt Queen Zagara, just because that Crypt Queen design is so awesome.
Oh, yeah, and more people are talking about how Sergeant Hammer punched Zagara in the face in that video than Kel'Thuzad. There's been a big meme going about the internet about all of that stuff. I mean, Sergeant Hammer was pretty much a badass in that little anime short, too.
She was. Of all of the heroes to uppercut somebody, I think Hammer deserves that right.
Absolutely. Been stuck in that tank for way too long. Time to bust out and uppercut some Zagara. Lots more stuff is going on at Gamescom, though, as it goes into the weekend. There are Heroes tournaments. There are Heroes show games. There are lots of streamers out there that are streaming the new content. Lots of updates to the game, visual updates, the kill meters. Everything is changing up a little bit, keeping the game fresh. The game looks so good, and Kel'Thuzad is on the way. Speaking of Gamescom, the other games in the Blizzard universes are getting touched on as well here. World of Warcraft, StarCraft is getting some Dahaka influence coming into it, additional Dahaka influence, I should say. And then, of course, Overwatch is getting a brand new map. Lots of crazy cool stuff. It's like mini BlizzCon.
It's a mini Christmas, but yeah, you're right. Very much a mini BlizzCon. But with the release of Kel'Thuzad, it makes me kind of sad because who's going to be released at BlizzCon that anybody is going to care too much about. But maybe I shouldn't say it that way. Maybe that's too negative. Maybe it needs to be more, I'm very interested in seeing who the next hero people get really excited for is going to be. Is it going to be Deathwing just because? Or will attention shift to a different character from the Blizzard universes?
Yeah, and I like to think, because right now there are some spoilers and stuff that are on Reddit, and you can kind of read through, and for the most part they've been accurate, right, as they go through these heroes that they're releasing. I wonder if at any point Blizzard sees those things and completely flips everything on its head and be like, haha, you thought this was the next hero that was coming out, but we got you beat. This is going to be this other person. So, I don't know. I'm on the fence here, and I actually am going to go the positive route and say Blizzard right now is sitting there going, well, you thought Kel'Thuzad was big at Gamescom. Wait till you see BlizzCon.
Hopefully our first dragon hero. That's, for me personally, a dragon hero would definitely be on par, if not more cool than Kel'Thuzad.
Absolutely. And chat is calling for dragons all over the place right now, and I totally agree. It would be so killer to have a dragon that changes the game, changes the way that the game is played, kind of when they introduced, Abathur and they had Lost Vikings and that kind of feel. That's what I want with a dragon. So there has been one change that I wanted to talk about that's live in the game right now, and it's these mirror matches that they're trying to avoid when you play a quick match. And my personal opinion on how this is playing is that I love it. I think it's so much more fun to not be paired up in mirror matches as often. Now, Blizzard has come out and said that they still will happen. You still will get a mirror match, but it's much less likely for it to happen to you in quick match now with these changes. So, Kristen, have you experienced it, and what are your thoughts?
Yes, I have experienced both really, really incredible evenings and really, really, really depressing evenings. The first week this was implemented, I played Thursday night, 8-9 game winning streak, and then maybe it was the balance because the very next weekend 8-9 game losing streak, and the one we won, I given up and was YOLOing as much as I could, and we managed to win. So I'm very intrigued to see how this balances out. I like it. I really do like the fact that if I choose a Murky, I won't be up against a Murky. But it has led to a resurgence of Novas, which has been really interesting because it seems that a lot of people haven't really played against Nova. So she's a lot scarier to my teammates than before this happened. And that's kind of frustrating to me because Nova isn't that scary once you know how to play against her.
Yeah, really good points there. I really like it in a lot of respects, and I've actually seen the resurgence of Nova as well. Who knows? Maybe we'll all get on the anti-Nova train again, and we'll just be able to wipe her out constantly, but we'll have to see. And, it's more fun to look at your comp, to look at their comp, and to see this is what their strategy should be with what they have, which is different than what we have. So you'll still see some mirror matches out there, but enjoy the times that you don't have to play against a mirror match and create your own strat with your own team. All right, let's do what we are here to do, and let's forge.
Let's forge.
On this episode number 86 of Heroes Forge, we're going to do what we've done for the last 85 episodes, or 85 weeks, and we're going to take a hero that's not in Heroes of the Storm yet, and imagine what they would be like if they were. But this week is a very special episode, because once a month we do something called the Featured Forger, where we take an idea that was sent in to us by the community, by you, the listeners of this show. Maybe it's a kit, a hero you'd like to see in the Nexus, and Kristen and I build 2 more kits off of what you send in, and each week we feature a forger. This week, Kristen, who are we featuring, and what hero are we forging?
This week we are featuring Joshua L's build for Ana from Overwatch.
That's right. Another Overwatch hero just kind of beaming on the horizon into the Nexus here is Ana. So First off, I guess we should decide, are we saying Anna or Anna? I think it's Anna, but I'm not sure.
I'm going with Anna. I checked out the preview they released with her, and she pronounces it Anna in the voiceover.
Perfect. It's Anna. I love it. Anna, because that's what I was going to say. So with Anna and with these Overwatch characters that we talk about on the show, what we've seen happen from Blizzard as they bring them over is that they're pretty intact in the way that they came from Overwatch, right? So they've got the same type of kit with a few adjustments that kind of make it fit into the MOBA style. But for the most part, it kind of gels with exactly what they do in Overwatch.
It really does. And I think we have to be very grateful to the Blizzard team for showing restraint in that regard, because how easy, and not that the process is easy, but how easy would it be to have this hero that's basically ready to go, just have to come up with talents and how they would fit in the Nexus, and boom, you got it. All of the visual assets are done, the voice acting, you've got the characterization, that's all complete. So it's basically a package you copy paste. So it's really neat that there's been this hold that Overwatch has occasionally gotten some releases, and a lot of the focus has been more on the other universes, of course, namely Warcraft, since that's just such an enormous one.
Totally. And, if we were to see Anna in the Nexus someday, we, of course, can think that she would be very similar to the way that she would play in Overwatch, just from the past and what we've seen. But on this show here, we're not going to stop there. We're going to theory craft a whole bunch here and imagine if she was different, what would she be like in our minds for the Nexus? And that's exactly what Joshua did, sending in this kit to us. It is so cool. It's built in with, some augmentations for level 20 talents for the heroic abilities. It is really neat. And as always, thank you, Joshua, for sending it in, and we're going to post it on our website, which is HeroesForge.club, after we're done talking about our kits, and you can check out all three on the website once this show goes live after it's recorded. So, Kristen, give us a little background on this character and her place in Overwatch.
Can do. Mother of Farah, Anna was one of the original members of Team Overwatch. As the deadliest sniper in the world, she used her powers to protect Egypt during the Omnet crisis and then the world. While things went well for a time, everything was shattered after she lost a duel to Widowmaker and was thought dead. Following a sort of rebirth, Anna rebranded herself as a mercenary, eventually revealing herself to the two people she cared about most in the world, her daughter and Soldier 76.
Wink, wink.
Oh, I read that and I went, I had no idea that they were a thing. Wink, wink. It's not really confirmed, but she does come back to tell Jack Morrison that she's still alive and that he needs somebody to watch his back. So I think that's a pretty big indication.
Right, and she only has one eye, right? So it's easier to wink with just one eye?
Yeah, exactly. Or maybe she's got like a special fake eye that she uses to wink specially at Morrison. Just it's his special eye.
That's right. I love it. And this story is great, right? So the deadliest sniper in the world. That's a title that some other Overwatch characters I think would like to have. But the fact that in Overwatch she is a support character in the game, a support hero to play. I mean, that kind of is a whole 180 on what you would think the deadliest sniper in the world would be.
Totally. And this is, of course, after the rebirth, right? So she's not killing people anymore. But it is, like you said, it's fascinating that they would take a sniper who snipers are known for taking people out in one shot and turn it into a support, something that heals. It's kind of unfounded in that sense.
Yeah, it's a really cool idea, and I remember when they launched Anna in the game, there was this whole teasers leading up to it, and her Biotic Rifle was part of the teasers, trying to figure out what exactly this hero was going to do, and she, in fact, was the first hero in Overwatch that was released after the game came out to the public, so she was the first added hero in the game, so the hype was real. Let's get into this. Let's get into some kits. And again, we're going to take one ability from Joshua's kit and build our own kits off of it as the featured forger. All right, Kristen, you get the awesome opportunity to go first here. and give us your kit for Ana. What role classification are you going off of here?
Okay, I'm going with support. I figure if there's one thing we keep with the kit, it's what their role would be, because that's so much a part of their characters.
Absolutely. I could not agree more. And Ana being a support has a ton of really cool MOBA ideas that you can build behind this and make it really unique. So what trait goes with your support?
So the trait is actually from Joshua's build. It's a featured forger ability. And I feel like we need a little sound thing for this. And it's known as Biotic Rifle. And this was really, really cool to me because passive, because of this ability, Ana has no auto attack. But the active part of this trait is that Ana switches stances. So kind of like Sergeant Hammer, sieging and unsieging. So the first stance is stand. Ana is unable to use Q or attack, but has 10% increased movement speed. The second stance is what's known as prone. Ana goes to a prone position that allows her to snipe allied/enemy heroes to heal/damage respectively. While in prone position, she has increased vision in her area and minimap, but is unable to move. And Josh was thinking this is a cooldown of about 5 seconds, but is an instant cast.
So she's up and down all over the battlefield in this build, and I love just the stand idea. So she's not able to attack, but has 10% increased movement speed to get where she needs to go. And you know, to get there and to heal up or go prone and have extended vision. I mean, vision has become so important to me in this game over the last couple of years for the first MOBA I ever played, you know, so being able to have a little bit of extended vision is just, I mean, it's killer.
It is, and it really fulfills, I think, that fantasy of being a sniper where you choose a position that's generally very, very far away where the enemy probably, hopefully, can't see you, and then you pick them off one by one as they approach this territory that you have around you. And I really like that idea that you get that extended range as you go into this very easy to kill, vulnerable position.
Right, and with Joshua's idea here, this whole idea of laying down on the ground and, you know, getting into that sniper position, it has such a cool sniper feel to it, where that's what you want to see from a sniper, you know, going prone, getting as low to the ground as possible, bracing yourself to get the steadiest shot you can get, and that feeling here with that ability is spot on.
Right, and you create your little nest, and then, of course, with the increased range, you can set up for a battle that may ebb and flow because your range will cover the give and take.
Totally. Love it. So I have a question about the 10% increase to movement speed. Does that apply to when you're mounted in this kit?
So with the mount, I was thinking because of the movement speed increase, she wouldn't be able to. I feel that that's something Blizzard is kind of sticking with, where if you have a hero that has a global like Brightwing or Dahaka or movement speed like Lunara, they don't have the ability to mount.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that you would have to play her differently in this sort of kit, and maybe 10% is the right amount, and maybe it would be a little more or a little less if you were going to have that no mounting ability, but I still think that's a cool way of seeing, you know, her hood and cape going across the battlefield as a sniper, her jumping down into the position. Yeah, I think no mount is the right way to go.
Yeah, and think of it too, like you have somebody who's predicting where the battles are going to break out, so she'll need to be there ahead of everybody else. You know, she's a forward-thinking Ana, so that she can set up and be ready to go.
I love it. It's too cool. Let's get into some basics that you used his trait to form your kit. What's your first basic ability?
Right, the first one, and all of these abilities, the basic abilities at least, are going to have double effects. One for the enemies, one for the heroes, because that's a part of who she is. She can hurt her enemies, but she can save her allies, kind of a thing. So this first one is simply Snipe. It is a high-impact shot that damages targeted enemies, but heals targeted friendly heroes.
I mean, it's an Ana thing to the T here. I mean, shooting your friendlies to heal them is a crazy thing to think about, but it's how she works.
It is, and this was not something I wouldn't imagine her kit would come with skill shots like Vala's Hungering Arrow, mostly because I guess with the fantasy, she's the best sniper, so why would she have to aim, and why would you even risk giving a hero to somebody that would just whiff the shots and not feel as awesome as Ana should feel as the sniper? So this one, I would imagine the cooldown would be decently long, but it would be your auto attack.
Oh, nice. So there is no opportunity. I mean, you're the best. You're the best in the world. Nova ain't got nothing on this.
Exactly. And the whole thing with Widowmaker, the only reason she lost to Widowmaker was the surprise factor. She didn't realize that Widowmaker was her friend who she had thought was dead. She found out in the middle of that fight, and that's when Widowmaker was able to get a shot off.
Gotta cheat to compete, I guess.
That you do.
All right, let's get on to second basic. What's your second over here?
The second one is called Stim. When hit with Stim, enemies are slowed and their abilities take longer to cool down. When friendlies are hit, however, they gain attack speed and cooldowns are reduced.
Ooh, I love cooldowns are reduced. That's something I think we need to play with in this game a little bit more to kind of affect the timing on cooldowns of friendly heroes. That's a huge support mechanic.
It is, and I think too how this would be balanced out simply by mana restrictions, right? So even though you're going through your abilities faster, that is a very quick boom, you better have done what you needed to, because after that you're going to be really low on mana and probably won't be able to contribute to the team fight as steadily had you not have used that much mana.
Absolutely. And chat is asking if it would be able to be self-targeted. Would you be able to kind of stim yourself, or is it only other heroes like we've seen with a couple of abilities in the game?
I'd say if you roll a 1, you absolutely stim yourself, but in the bad way. You're slowed and your ability is no longer. No, I see her kind of like a Morales, but with lots of range, so she wouldn't be able to, because physically, what is she going to do? Turn the gun around and shoot herself in the face?
Yeah, I would go with no. And if you're going to go with it, maybe she has like a little extra syringe that she carries on her vest or something that has the same sort of thing, and she kind of minority reports that thing and just stabs herself with it.
That's a good point. You could do that. So visually, how is she injecting stim into people? Is it special bullets? Is she chucking syringes? And in that case, yeah, if it was syringes, totally, she could be able to do it to herself.
Absolutely. I think there's a cool opportunity to maybe change it up a little bit on how it feels. But this is Ana again. I mean, bravo. These are two really cool ideas. So with this stim, though, when can she use it? When she's standing and when she's laying down, or only when she's prone?
I'm going with the trait in that only the Q can't be used. And that's why I think her Q would do a lot of damage. So this one, to help the allies and stuff, it would be great support stuff she could run in and do, run back, get into a new stance, shoot off a round. That kind of stuff. Maybe she's a lot busier than just setting up a nest and sitting there.
Nice. I like it. What's on the menu for the next basic ability?
What's on the menu for the next one is a little escape thing that came to mind because of all of the Batman I've been playing, and I'm calling it Pop Off. Ana tosses down a smoke bomb that blinds any enemies in it while giving friendly units stuck in it a period of brief stealth.
Nice. A little bit of support flavor there. I like it. Being able to stealth your own friendlies. That's huge.
Yeah, and I imagine this would be something she would toss, very much like a Takis grenade or a Morales grenade. Except unlike the Morales grenade, you wouldn't choose when to explode it. You toss where it's going to land. So hopefully the teammates are trying to get out or in there so they can get a bit of stealth, but yeah, sometimes you miss.
That's great, though, because I'm sure, like your trait says, she can use this standing or laying down prone, probably. So if she's prone in a bush, topping people off with heals, getting some shots off, dealing some damage, and then they look like they're not going to be able to get out, or maybe they want to get a gank or something, she can throw in that smoke grenade, and then poof, they're all gone.
Exactly. And what if you have to deal with a stealthy, right? You need 5 seconds. You need to switch from your stance from sitting to standing. And if you've got a stealthy on you, you got to throw that down so you get that brief period of time to get up and get out before they can take you out.
Totally. And, it's great. It is a great rendition of the basic ability version of Valera's ultimate stealth, where she pops a huge smoke cloud and instantly is gone and can move around inside of it and still not be seen. I'm assuming that with this one, you can still be revealed if somebody happens to get a good skill shot off on you, like a normal stealthy in the game.
Yeah. I think that's safe, and it would be a good balance. If damage is done to you while you're stealthed within this basic ability, it would reveal you.
Too cool, though. Batman to a T. I love it. Let's get into heroics. What's your first one?
First one we're calling Danger Zone. And Ana is thought to be the best sniper in the world, even better than Widowmaker. When in what she calls her danger zone, Ana wields a veritable sniper machine gun, firing high-impact rounds in quick succession, dealing damage based off of enemy health pools.
So she's basically this rifle that she carries transforms into a sniper machine gun that deals percentage-based damage based off the health of the person she's attacking.
Yeah. So what I imagine with this is that this would give her some incredible burst, single target burst ability, and that she would want to use this and change targets because she'd be able to fire in quick succession, but she chooses her target she fires on. So you take down half the health of an ETC. Okay, you did it. Half the health of a Leroy, half the health of that topped off Li Ming, and just bursts them down so that her team can push forward and hopefully secure a kill.
That's too cool. This wins the kit for me so far. I mean, this is a really cool idea. Now, the visual for this, and I'm assuming she cries out with some sort of war cry as she pulls out this sniper machine gun. What are you thinking here?
Maybe, right? Maybe it's got super paint on it. I was just thinking something like, if you've ever seen Saving Private Ryan, the bell tower scene where the sniper, he's just going, shot in, boom, shot out, and it's 100% accuracy. I really wanted to somehow capture that in this.
Oh, it's too cool. I know exactly what you're talking about. That is too cool. What's your second heroic?
All right, the second one is called Can't Wake Up. Ana launches a grenade that, when it lands, puts every enemy in its radius to sleep. Even when hit, they do not wake, making it essentially a stun and a silence.
Nice. You had to have sleep in there somewhere because that's a huge part of how she plays in Overwatch, and putting it on this grenade is such a cool idea. Now, when you throw it, I'm assuming it has a really short cooldown because you can just be popping these grenades off in a short succession, or are you thinking that it's big enough radius to where you would need to have a bigger cooldown to kind of control its power a little bit?
I'm thinking it's pretty big and you get a one and done because of stun and silence that you don't get interrupted from if you take damage. And I don't even know how long this thing would last. That could be game changing, right? If you get that Gul'dan out and he's out like a light, you just walk up and he's dead because he can't do any of his survivability traits on you. He won't be outputting damage. It would just be disgusting.
Absolutely. And you think they would have to add another animation set to every hero in the game to show them sleeping.
Oh, they would. Oh, I'm sorry, Blizz team. It's amazing, and I would absolutely want this to happen. But because of that, maybe we won't see Ana anytime soon.
Maybe. I mean, I'm thinking about it now. Or maybe if we saw her in the game, it would be this stun animation for when you're asleep instead. But I would hope that they would add some sleeping animation in there because that would be just funny.
Well, I would imagine it, right? They've got little Z's coming out of their characters. Maybe there's some little bedtime music playing.
Absolutely. Wow, this kit is so cool, and it's got Ana written all over it, and it all started with that trait from our featured forger, Joshua, this week. So, Kristen, if you had to sum this whole thing up, how do you do it?
I would sum it up with sleep tight.
Your summaries for these kits are always the best. The best. Maybe that's what I'm doing wrong. Maybe that's why I never win the Twitter vote, because my summaries are never quite as good as something like sleep tight. I love it. All right, before we get on to my kit and we forge through the show a little more, we have some people that we definitely need to thank. First and foremost, we need to thank all of our supporters on patreon.com/HeroesForge for supporting the show week after week. As always, you are all super rock stars. If you'd like to pledge to the show and help support us going week after week, you can head on over to our Patreon site. Again, it's patreon.com/HeroesForge. And a huge thank you again to everyone currently supporting us. If you've given us a 5-star review on iTunes, thank you so much. It helps the show grow. It's been awesome getting all of that feedback over there. So if you like the show and you listen to us on iTunes, drop us a 5-star review and we'll give you a shout out right here on the show as soon as we get the review. Thank you again to everyone that has done that. And also thank you to everyone in the chat. As always, we're recording this show a few days later this week, but we're still bringing you the show, and we still got a chat room full of people that are being totally awesome. Let's get on to the second kit of the show, which is my Ana build, inspired off of our featured forger, and my role, I'm going with a ranged support.
Could you have chosen anything else?
I don't think so. I think especially with Ana, you gotta go support, just because it's so unique the way that she heals in Overwatch. You gotta bring that in the game. Now, I see how you could, if you wanted to put another sniper in the game and make it an assassin, you could do that with Ana, but it would be like her pre-revolution Ana, where she is the best sniper. And there's a skin for her in Overwatch where she looks like that before she was, transformed, so to speak. So you could go that way.
That's a very great point, right? When she's actually killing people and taking them down. But this Ana, she's the mom, she's watching out for her team. She's making sure the kids play nice and then nothing bad happens.
Absolutely. And that starts all with the trait that I came up with here called Nano Boost. So in Overwatch, Ana's Nano Boost ability is a powerful ultimate that can turn the tide of the game and give friendly heroes the edge to win the battle. In this kit, though, I'm imagining that Nano Boost would work a little differently as her trait. She would be able to stick herself with the boost, increasing the effectiveness of both her abilities and attacks. Nano Boost can only be used on Ana, and all of her abilities will be affected by the boost as well as her auto attacks. So basically it's a form of a stim drone, right? It's not increasing your attack speed, it's just increasing the effectiveness overall of your abilities and auto attacks.
Yeah, so how long of a cooldown do you think this would have?
I think it would have a pretty decent cooldown. I think you'd wanna have it have a good length of cooldown, but it's really how you balance in this kit how much healing you're doing and how well that's working out. It's got a Stukov feel to it, where you're putting your pustules out there and you're healing orbs, and then you're popping them when you want a little bit of burst. And I think I say later in my kit here that I didn't want her to be a burst healer like that, but more of a sustained healer. So let's get into it. So the mounting ability, or the mount I'm thinking for her, would be a Cyber Sphinx.
Ooh, yes. I mean, you would have to go with some sort of Egyptian skin with this one too, right? Not only to match with Tassadar, because her and Tass would be buddies. I see it now. But she's got that, what is it, the Eye of Horus tattooed on her face for protection? It's so cool.
Yeah, and you could put her up with Zagara in her like Egyptian-looking scorpion skin, and Tassadar. I'm a sucker for those kind of skins. I think we've talked about that before. I think they just look so neat.
They really are, and it's a common, I guess, mythology that we see in mostly really awesome sci-fi stuff. Rarely, I think, is Egyptian thematics handled poorly in film and everything.
Yeah, I agree. And we got the Cyber Ram already. We got the Cyber Wolf already. Let's add a Cyber Sphinx in here, like one of these mythological creatures that this would be like a robot one.
Yeah, so are you thinking mostly robot then? Or would you want to go with more of an animalistic looking Sphinx?
I'm thinking more of a robot, but I love the idea of having it be like the actual statue, like a rock statue of a Sphinx too. That would be a really cool skin for it.
Nice.
So getting onto basic abilities here, the first one you called it is called the Eye of Horus. Now the Eye of Horus is an ancient Egyptian symbol of protection, royal power, and good health. And like Kristen said before, it is tattooed on her eye. I believe it's a tattoo. It's some sort of marking over her eye, and it is this symbol of protection. So this ability is named after that, and it's her primary healing ability. And like all of her abilities, its effectiveness is increased by her Nano Boost trait. When activated, her basic attacks will heal allies instead of harming foes. You are able to switch the Eye of Horus on and off depending on what type of auto attack you want to do. Ana wouldn't be a burst support hero, but rather a hero that has the ability to keep her team healed up constantly. That being said, when her trait is active, it has a significant increase to the effectiveness of the Eye of Horus when it's on healing.
Gotcha. So these bullets, would they do immediate heals or would it be heals over time? So you'd see the little bars going and then switch heroes based on what they need.
I think it's immediate heals, but it is slow. I mean, you're seeing this thing kind of slowly tick away at you because I figure her auto attack would be, like you said, that Saving Private Ryan tower sort of feel where it's bam, 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 and she's just, like shooting, and then you switch the Eye of Horus on and it's healing your friendlies. You switch it off, it's attacking your enemies. So there's a lot of piano play here so far with her trait and her Q ability.
I like that a lot, though. And I like that the Q, you just hit the Q. You don't have any extra buttons to hit there. You hit Q once, you're doing damage. Hit Q a second time, now it's healing.
Yeah, she's just kind of watching out and seeing where she can do some damage and where she can do some healing. And with that trait, it should be pretty powerful, especially combined with my featured Forger selection, which is my second basic, called Biotic Grenade. Now, in this Biotic Grenade, it plays a lot like Overwatch. She throws a grenade that explodes in an area. Allies are healed, and the healing effects for a short duration are amplified to those allies that are hit. Enemies that may be in the area of the explosion are damaged, and healing is prevented for the same duration. And Joshua goes on to say that this would have a medium range. What a cool idea.
Fascinating. So you've built a combo dependent healer. That is really neat.
Yeah, it's really cool to think about how, this one ability is such a neat thing to be able to kind of manipulate. You'd look at a battle in a different way. That's what intrigued me about it so much, where you're seeing these people that are getting healed by the Morales. They have low health. You throw this grenade on them and it decreases the amount of healing, or he's saying healing is prevented from that specific person, which is so cool. And so you can take people out in a different way.
Definitely, while giving yourself a chance to maybe catch up to some burst damage that's come out that's really cut through your team. And quick question about the healing bullets. Would these heals be based off of health percentages? Or would they just be flat numbers?
I think they need to be based off of percentages, right? Because then it's more fair to be able to heal heroes that have full health bars. They're chunkier heroes.
Certainly. And of course, with the healing, it wouldn't need to be hurt based on how high their health bars are. Maybe it's just like a flat 10%.
Yeah, something like that. So definitely you'd be able to feel it, but as you have more health, you wouldn't feel it as much as someone that was a little squishier. And then this Biotic Grenade gets tossed on you, and if you're in it, you get healed for a little bit, but then also if she starts shooting you with her healing bullets at that point, you're getting healed more, and you feel it even more. And then with the combo of the trait, that's where the burst kind of comes in.
Yeah, that's great because it allows her to heal against multiple types of enemies. That's one I was looking out for, right? Because we have so many different types of damage nowadays. How do you have a healer? How do you even have one healer that can cover all of it?
Totally, and I think Stukov does a really good job at that because of the ability to kind of throw those, like we talked about before, the orbs, and that gives you a little bit of health. But then if he uses his trade, it bursts it up. So I think that does it really well.
Definitely. And then, of course, the silence. If you need to catch up from burst damage that's been taken, you can turn off the mages who are dealing that burst damage.
Oh yeah, the silence is real. The silence is real. Third basic ability over here is called Sleep Dart. Now this is directly from Overwatch to a degree. So firing a single projectile that travels at high speeds, it will inflict a sleep status effect on an enemy. While asleep, the enemy hero cannot move, attack, or use abilities, and audio will sound lower pitch and distorted. This ability is different than any other stun in the game. It also affects heroes that are unstoppable, making it a perfect interrupt tool. In Overwatch, this is exactly what Ana is good at, interrupting ultimates and giving the team a chance to survive.
That is pretty powerful, putting it on the E like this and not having it be a heroic. Because even if you're a talent tier behind and they get their 10s, you could turn off a mosh pit and keep them from abusing their level lead.
Absolutely. And I'm wondering if I think that there are enough choices out there. And maybe in my mind, I think that Blizzard is thinking, we want we want talent diversity out there. We want people to pick different talents that work, and different combinations of talents. And everybody, this is just an example, but everybody picks Mosh Pit, right? So let's give the enemy team an ability to say, you don't want to pick Mosh Pit against Ana because it's not going to have a full effectiveness if Ana, gets a hit on you with this sleep dart.
That's true. And now, is this going to be a skill shot?
Yes, it will be a skill shot, and Chad is asking if it will only hit heroes or if it's something can get in the way. Something can get in the way. I think you've really got to land this skill shot to get this sleep dart off. That way, that's the give and take, and that's a really good point.
So this is the ability that separates the good Anas from the great Anas.
Absolutely. You got to get in there and land these things. And imagine Leorc's coming at you, skeleton swing, just like plowing through the enemy. Bam, hit him with the sleep dart. Or let's say, there's lots, like you named the mosh pit out there. There are other unstoppable things like Garrosh can take that new talent where he becomes unstoppable. Not against this ability.
Yeah, and Butcher too. He was the one I was thinking about. He was the reason why I was asking if it was a skill shot or not. Because he gets some speed if he makes that connection. But, maybe you're always behind your friends, so you learn the angles and really practice hitting those butcher charges.
Yeah, it would take a lot of practice, Now, this first heroic is called Biotic Tether. So after this ability is activated, Ana quickly selects 2 targets in range to tether them together. Once selected, she fires a slingshot type round at them and connects them both with a biotic tether. While tethered, they share all damage that is dealt to either one of them. The tether lasts for the duration of the ability, no matter how far the targets move apart from each other. If Ana's trait is activated while this tether is in place, the tether deals damage itself, and that damage is also shared.
Do you enjoy torturing players in this is amazing. Oh my goodness. Oh, okay. So number wise, we have to talk about this. So it's dealt equally, they share equal percentages of this damage, or is it dependent upon the health pools of each?
To be honest, I don't know how it would work percentage-wise, but what I want it to feel like is if you tied an assassin and a healer together, and you started, just going to the assassin, and you were just dealing damage to the assassin, hit for hit, hit point for hit point, the healer would be taking the damage in the backline because they're both tethered together. Now, the tether, unless her trait is activated, is not doing any damage, but they're sharing the damage together. So it's kind of like a targeting tool.
Okay, cool. So we got Vala, Malfurion. They're stuck together. Vala's health is decreasing. Malfurion's would be decreasing at the same rate.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, what do you think? I mean, if Malfurion takes a 10 hit point hit, or let's say, let's switch it up here to kind of make it more real. So let's say Diablo is getting attacked by Tychus with Giant Killer, right? With this whole feel of percentage-based damage, and is taking, you know, I don't know, some crazy amount, let's just say, just for sake of math, 10 hit points hitting on Diablo each time it hits. Is the person that he's tethered to going to be taking that same amount of damage, or is it a math game and you have to take the same percentage as if Tychus was directly attacking them?
Oh, this is a fascinating puzzle, isn't it? Because there are so many ways this could be done. Because how do you balance? Well, I mean, a low health Li Ming, hopefully up against this, wouldn't be next to a high health tank, right? Because if she takes an explosion, she's dead. But if they're sharing a total health pool and then that's distributed evenly, maybe she would want to be tethered to that high health tank so she could survive a lot of damage. What about armor? If somebody's, is it pure damage? If somebody has armor, is some of that damage negated?
I don't know. And you know, this idea I got from a World of Warcraft raid in the Emerald Nightmare. I believe it's Il'gynoth or the spider or whatever her name is. And there's a point in the battle where two random players are tethered together and they share all damage that is dealt to them, you know, depending on where they're standing and what they're doing. Of course, they try to get out of the area. So maybe that's the ultimate strat here.
Right, don't even get caught in the first place. But, oh, man, we could talk about this for the rest of the night. I love this.
Send us your ideas on Twitter on what you think about this tethering ability, and if it's something that we could bring into the game, or if it's something that's too OP, or if you were gonna bring it in, how you might change it up a little bit, because I think there's an opportunity for a few heroes coming out, or a few heroes that haven't come out yet, to have something similar to this magical, or in this case, technological tether that, you know, does some cool stuff. So the second heroic is a little easier to wrap our minds around. It's called Enabler. And Enabler, when it's activated, Ana is able to place her activated trait on friendly heroes in the area. It's an AoE splash of her Nano Boost, and it increases the effectiveness of all of their abilities and base attacks. Also, all heroes that are affected by this will have a small heal over time during the duration of this ability. So it's the healing alt here, but also a stim drone, so to speak, for everyone in an AoE circle.
I like it. I really like when healers have the ability to boost their team so that you can win harder if you're having a great game. I mean, nothing is more fun than having a Rhaegar that gives everybody bloodlust because you're just going ham. Then you're 3-4 levels up. Why not?
Yeah, so this one's probably more traditional sort of feel with this kit, where the biotic tether is a crazy math puzzle that we probably will never figure out and don't have to. So that is my entire kit here, forged off of Joshua's featured forger ability, that Biotic Grenade, which is so cool. And if I had to sum it all up, I would say that your goal here is to be that combo dependent healer. You know, you're playing with your trait, you're playing with your ability to attack and do damage or heal or shoot your friendlies, throwing biotic grenades, putting people to sleep even when they don't want to be put to sleep, and you know, tethering people down and enabling your team to push forward.
Definitely. And once you get all of that stuff down, it's like the great Stukovs that we're seeing now. The combos that they can pump out are just impressive.
Yeah, I am loving Stukov too. It's a ton of fun. If you don't have Stukov, go out there and pick him up if you're a support player, because it's a ton of fun and the silences are real. Before we can call this hero forged, we've got to talk about specialty skins and dance moves. So Kristen, let's start with your specialty skin for Ana here.
All right. Well, I checked out Ana, and when she went mercenary, she got herself a little mask and everything. And when I saw that, I couldn't help but think we need Tali a Tali Ana from Mass Effect. You just give her that faceplate, you give her a purple tint, and then what, 4 fingers, 3 fingers on each hand?
Yeah, that sounds so cool. I didn't even get that cross-reference until you said Mass Effect, and then I was like, oh yeah, the Tali. That would be so cool. I love that sort of feel. I love when they do stuff like, you know, Space Lord Leoric, and they bring in IPs that we know they're kind of referencing, but not actually referencing them.
Yeah, right. And I mean, the fan service, right? It wouldn't actually be Tally. I'm sure the copyright, the red tape would be insane, but it would be enough of a wink where people who played Mass Effect and romanced that wonderful, wonderful woman would know.
And for those of you listening to the audio-only version, that pause was for an actual wink. So it was perfect. Just imagine it as you're driving in your long commute. It was perfect. So I cheated a little bit here. I have 3 skin ideas because I couldn't choose just one. So the first one is Enemy at the Gates, Anna. And if you haven't seen Enemy at the Gates, it's a film about a Russian and a German sniper that play a game of cat and mouse during the Battle of Stalingrad.
Oh, sick. So would she have a Russian and a German skin?
Yeah, I think that'd be cool to have like a different tint to it, or just have one that was like it looked like a World War II influenced type of skin.
Totally. World War II has, I mean, some of the most iconic, right? Some of the most iconic looks.
Absolutely. Now, my second skin idea is, you've seen the film Mad Max?
Yes.
So at the end of the film, there are those really old ladies that like carry those guns and ride motorcycles. That was my second idea. It was for her to be one of those old ladies from Mad Max.
I love that idea. And then we'd have a partner for Garrosh, and we'd slowly put together the Mad Max team.
We're all about themed teams over here. We're all about themed teams. The Protoss Bros, or what is it called? Brotoss. That's what we're really looking out for.
Brotoss all the way. We got Raynor, we got Tassadar, we got Zeratul, we got Artanis. Who needs anybody else?
Now, my third, and I think the best skin idea here is Dentist Anna. And she has a special voice line that says, open up and say, nah.
Oh. I'll give it a 10 out of 10 just because it's a great pun and it would bring a smile to many people's faces regardless of how they try to play it off as not enjoying it.
So she'd have a big, dentist drill or some sort of, like water shooter. I mean, I don't know.
I know exactly what you're talking about, right? Instead of floss, they just chip away the plaque with the water. I love that idea. So really concentrated bolts of water.
Yeah. Really concentrated bolts of water.
It works, right? I mean, it's the Tracer, the Tychus minigun. They shoot water, for crying out loud. But yet you can kill somebody? Okay.
Anything's possible if you just believe. Also, the dance move I was thinking of was Rockabye Baby Dance with her rifle.
Oh, man. I don't know if she's gone crazy, Demon Barbara Fleet Street crazy, or if that would be one of the sweetest things to see.
Attend the tale of Anna Todd.
Her gun was long and her life was odd.
That was good. That was on the fly. We didn't practice that before the show, promise. What's your dance move?
This one, I looked up Egyptian dances, and I came across this one called the Raqs Asaya, also known as the cane dance. And it's a type of belly dance where the dancer uses a cane, but instead of a cane, Anna would use her rifle.
Perfect. Like, legitimately perfect.
Yeah, there was another one, too, where they're using 2 canes. And, these dances were incredible to watch. So if you ever get a chance to look this up, Raqsassaya. It's a really, really neat dance.
That works perfect for her. I mean, I really hope that we would see her in the game at some point. These kits are so cool. And even if she transported over with her exact kit as it is in Overwatch with minor tweaks, I mean, I think it really fits.
It would work. And of course, we would have the Overwatch people coming in again, and we'd have some great skins, and there would be incredible synergy. And I think she would fill a really cool support role that we haven't seen yet.
Absolutely. After all of that, we can say that Ana was forged. A huge thank you to Joshua for sending in this kit to us again and inspiring all of the abilities that we talked about tonight. If you'd like to take a look at Josh's kit, you can head on over to our website. Again, it's HeroesForge.club and check it out. If you've got an idea for a kit that you'd like to see on the Featured Forger episode that happens every month, send it to us. You can send it to us in a whole bunch of different ways. You can tweet at us at Forge Heroes. You can send us an email, which is contactheroesforge@gmail.com, or on that same website, you can click the contact tab at the top and shoot us a little message from there. Kristen, where can people find you in the interwebs when you're not on this show?
In the interwebs, you can find me at Dream Destroyer. That is DRMDESTRYR over at Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram.
Have we completed Batman?
No, we got to DLC last night, though. It was great. It's instead of playing as Batman, you play as Robin, Tim Drake, and his voice actor is wonderful. It's the man who did the main voice in The Last of Us.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that's been a lot of fun. And now we're hunting down Harley Quinn, and I've heard we get to beat her up, so I'm pretty excited about that. Because, you listen to this the whole game and you just can't stand it anymore.
That's really good. We also didn't practice that before the show either. I definitely didn't because I didn't do anything funny. But if you're looking for me, you can find me right here on Heroes Forge. We record the show live every Sunday night at 7 p.m. Pacific, Sunday night when we can. Thanks to everybody again for being flexible on our schedule here. We're still bringing you an episode just a few days late, but next Sunday we will be here rocking and rolling 7 p.m. Pacific on twitch.tv/Amove TV, because we are a part of the Amove TV podcasting and entertainment network. For more great esports and video game podcasts, make sure you check out amove.tv. I gave you all the info, except I forgot to tell you that you can vote on which one of these two kits you thought won the evening, and you could do that on our Twitter page, which again is at Forge Heroes. A huge thank you to our patrons again. A huge thank you to all of our iTunes reviewers and everyone in chat. Kristen, any final thoughts on Ana here?
She's been a ton of fun to forge. She's a really enjoyable character. She's an older lady who kicks butt and who snipes people without aiming to kill them for the most part.
Yeah, I love it. I honestly think that Ana will be... I was going to say the next Overwatch hero, but I really think Reinhardt is incoming. I think Reinhardt first, and then after Reinhardt, I think Ana.
Yeah? No Zenyatta or anything like that?
No, I really think Ana, just because like what you said earlier, it's really different. Although Zenyatta kind of feels, in a way, I know it's way different, but like a Stukov kind of feel, where you're throwing these orbs out and you're doing stuff. So I don't think Zenyatta's inbound anytime soon, but I think Ana's coming up.
Yeah, that's totally fair. You're right. You're throwing orbs around. But with this, you have a sniper who would kind of offset Nova in a way, right? So instead of Widowmaker, why not Ana? And we have more supports for the Nexus.
Oh, totally. And I would love that, being a support main. Totally. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening. We're going to call the show there, and we will see you all in the real world.